Barry Sheene was never a rider who admired people easily. He respected speed. He acknowledged bravery. But admiration was something he rarely gave. In a paddock full of champions and loud personalities, Barry Sheene believed one simple truth. Words were cheap. Riding was not. He did not judge riders by trophies alone. He watched how they handled defeat, how they adapted when things went wrong, and how they reacted when raw talent was no longer enough. Before he died, Barry Sheene never left behind a formal list. No rankings, no tributes. But through real battles on real circuits, 5 names kept returning. Not as legends, not as heroes, but as moments that changed him. One rider defeated him before fame arrived. One showed him that even brilliance could be destroyed by a dangerous circuit. One forced him to fight inside his own team. One proved that even legends must know when to change direction. And one represented a future that truly worried him. These were not the greatest riders in history. They were the riders who shaped Barry Sheene. And that is why their names still matter. Angel Nieto was the first rider who truly humbled Barry Sheene. In 1971, before the fame, before the headlines, before the number 7 became iconic, Barry Sheene was fighting for the 125cc World Championship. Across from him stood Angel Nieto. Nieto was not louder. He was not more dramatic, but he was more precise. That season, Nieto won the title. Barry Sheene finished second. It was not a defeat caused by lack of speed. Sheene was fast enough. It was a defeat caused by details. Nieto mastered the small things: race starts, consistency, points management. While others chased victories, Nieto chased championships. For Barry Sheene, this was a turning point. He realized that raw talent alone did not create a world champion. Discipline did. Patience did. Control did. Angel Nieto did not just beat Barry Sheene on the track. He forced him to grow up as a rider. And that lesson stayed with Sheene for the rest of his career. Jarno Saarinen was not the rider who beat Barry Sheene. He was the rider who changed how Barry Sheene looked at danger. In the early 1970s, Saarinen was the future. Smart, precise, different. He rode with his knee out, his body low, and his mind always one step ahead. Many believed he would dominate the sport for years. Then came Monza, 1973. A fast circuit, minimal protection, no margin for mistakes. Jarno Saarinen did not make a mistake. The circuit failed him. His death sent shockwaves through the paddock, including Barry Sheene. For Sheene, this was not just the loss of a great rider. It was proof that talent and intelligence could still be destroyed by unsafe conditions. From that moment on, Barry Sheene spoke differently. He questioned circuits. He questioned organizers. He questioned a sport that accepted death as part of the job. Jarno Saarinen never raced Barry Sheene for a title, but he changed Barry Sheene forever. Teuvo Lansivuori was the rider who forced Barry Sheene to fight closest to home. He was not a superstar. He did not dominate headlines. But inside the Suzuki garage, Teuvo Lansivuori mattered. They rode the same machine, the Suzuki RG 500. They shared data, engineers, and expectations. And that made the pressure different. Lansivuori was fast, quiet, methodical. He had already won Grand Prix races before Barry Sheene reached his peak. For Sheene, this was not about public rivalry. This was about truth. Your teammate knows your weaknesses. Your teammate rides the same bike. There are no excuses. Every practice session became a comparison. Every lap time became a question. Barry Sheene respected Lansivuori because he represented the hardest kind of competition. The kind that cannot be escaped. The kind that waits for you inside your own garage. Teuvo Lansivuori did not shape Sheene through defeat or tragedy. He shaped him through constant pressure, and that pressure made Sheene sharper. Giacomo Agostini was not admired by Barry Sheene for his past. He was admired for knowing when to leave it behind. Agostini had already won everything: titles, records, a place in history. Then he made a decision that surprised the paddock. He left MV Agusta. He chose Yamaha. He chose change. For Barry Sheene, this mattered. Sheene represented the new era. Two-stroke power, Japanese engineering, a faster and more dangerous future. Agostini understood that the sport was moving forward, and instead of protecting his legacy, he stepped into uncertainty. They met at a moment of transition, not as equals in age, but as riders standing between two eras. Barry Sheene respected Agostini because he proved something important. Greatness is not about holding on. It is about knowing when to move. Agostini did not try to be young again. He chose to stay relevant, and that choice earned Barry Sheene's respect. Randy Mamola was the rider who showed Barry Sheene a future he did not trust. Mamola was talented, fast, fearless. He rode on the edge every time the lights went out, sometimes beyond it. He never became a world champion, not because he lacked speed, but because the margin had become too thin. Barry Sheene watched Mamola closely, not with rivalry, but with concern. This was a new generation: faster bikes, more power, less forgiveness. Mamola crashed often, violently, and survived. For Sheene, that was not entertainment. It was a warning. He saw a sport that demanded more risk, but offered less protection. A future where talent alone could no longer guarantee survival. Barry Sheene respected Randy Mamola not for what he won, but for what he endured. Mamola represented the question Sheene could not ignore. How far could this sport go before it went too far? Before he died, Barry Sheene never tried to explain his legacy. He did not lecture. He did not romanticize danger. He did not ask to be remembered as a hero. Instead, he left behind something quieter: judgment. The riders he admired were not perfect. Some defeated him. Some frightened him. Some forced him to change. From Angel Nieto, he learned discipline. From Jarno Saarinen, he learned the cost of speed. From Teuvo Lansivuori, he learned honesty inside competition. From Giacomo Agostini, he learned when to let go. From Randy Mamola, he saw a future that demanded answers. Together, they formed Barry Sheene's real education. He admired riders who understood limits, who respected danger, who knew that survival mattered as much as victory. Barry Sheene did not believe racing was about dying for glory. He believed it was about living long enough to understand what truly mattered. And that belief may be his greatest legacy of all.